Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Vijay and we are learning Python in our Python Mastery series. Till the last video, we studied about the exception handling, how we can use a try except block to handle the errors and if there is any risky code that we will put under the try block, and except will be able to handle the errors that can potentially crash the program that we have studied in the last video. In this video, we are going to go one step further. Let's take an example of Code Cafe, our theme only, and in that we till now studied that we were trying to accept the payment from the customer, let's say, and customer entered the payment. If the payment is successful, then we want to execute a certain block of code. Let's say we want to print a message that payment is successful, and if it is a failure, then we want to accept execute the accept block as a part of the exception handling. And in both the scenarios, at the end we want to close the transaction, payment transaction close, that we want in every scenario. Either it is an error, either it is a not an error, successful in both the scenarios. So there are three things that we want to cover, how we can do all of these things programmatically. So that we will be looking in today's video with the help of try, accept, else, and finally. All of these blocks will help us to enhance our knowledge in the exception handling topic. Okay, so let's jump to the theory part. Let me just jump. Just allow me a second. Okay, so I am jumping. I have a diagram already ready, so that will help us to understand the syntax and the theory behind the try, accept, else, and finally block. Okay, so what happens? Let's say we are writing a code for the payment, and we are asking for the input. That input part is little bit like risky kind of code. We don't know the risk in the terms of it can lead to error if user does not enter the correct input as per the required method, like in the floating point or integer. If they enter some new string values, that can lead to an error, so we will put that part into the try block. If after executing the try block, if there is any error, it will go to the accept block. It will print a message like the entered input is not correct, or something. You can see that please enter the correct bill amount, something like that. The message will be printed, and at last finally block will be executed, that transaction is closed, payment transaction is closed, and then we will end the program. And contradictory to that, let's say we are entering the correct bill amount and there is no error. In that scenario, else block will be executed, and that else block will print the message like bill payment successful. In that scenario also, we want to close the connection transaction part, so that is also the finally block will be executed. In both the scenarios, if you see, both are leading to the finally block only, and that finally block is a mandatory that we want to execute in the failure or the success scenario. And at the end, the program is ending. And the syntax wise, it is very simple. First we will write the try block, then the accept block, then else, and then finally. Out of accept and else, one of the block will be executed, both won't get executed at the same time, because else will be executed whenever the situation is success, and at that time it will try to execute, and the accept will handle only the situations where the error is there, and finally will be executed in both the scenarios. Okay, so let's see the implementation of this one. And remember, we are also going to see how to raise the custom exceptions. Let's say there are some of the scenarios where logically there is no error, but we want a error uh, or a message to be printed to the user. Let's say we are asking for uh, some offers that are for the customers having the age above 18. So in that scenario, if customer enters the age below 18, we should give a message that this offer is not for you, in some way like that. Okay, so that we will be seeing the custom exception handling, that definitely we will come across in this video itself. So let's start with the else block first. We will try to write try number and we will try to convert into the integer input, simple enter number, and then we will try to accept the value error. We know if we enter the incorrect value, it will give us the value error. And then what we will print? We will print invalid number. Okay, we are printing this one. And in the else block, simple, we want if the number is able to be converted or typecasted to the numeric format, we can print the number. Okay, we don't need the double quotes, we can print the number. Okay, if we try to do that, mm, okay, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe the kernel problem again. Let me restart the kernel. Just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Once the kernel is restarted, the problem should be resolved. Mm, I'm not sure why it is taking so much of time. Let me try it once again, else we will create a new file. Okay, I guess we should create a new file because it seems there is some issue. So what I will do, just a second. We'll say exception handling second video and IP Y and B. Okay, let me select the kernel and then paste the code here and then try to execute it. I'm not sure if there is any issue with the kernel. Just allow me a second to check. It seems like there is a issue with the VS Code. Let me restart the VS Code. Oops. I'm just trying to once again restart it. I guess there is some issue with the VS Code. It is keeps on restarting. Allow me a minute. Okay. Okay. Let me just try this one now. Let me first try the hello world if the kernel is responding properly or not. Okay, I guess the kernel is responding properly. There should not be any issue. and here there is a value error. Okay, now if we try to execute this one, let's say I enter a number 100 19. Okay, and I guess there is some issue with the, let me rewrite the code. Okay, yeah, let me execute again. If I write the number 100, it is able to print the number. Let's say I intentionally make the mistake, I write Vijay instead of the number, it will print invalid. Okay, it is able to print that invalid number. So you see, in the case of success, it is able to execute this block. Whenever the try block execute without any error, it is able to print the else block. In the case of error, it is printing the except block. Okay, now let's move on to the next example for finally. Try and print, then we will go for, I'm not sure why the try part is giving the error. Okay, ignore that. We are opening file, then accept, print header, and then finally print closing file. I have not performed the file operations here, just to simplify the things, just to show you, whenever you are opening a file, at last you have to close it. Either it's error or it's successfully opened, closing is required. The same is the scenario whenever you are connecting your Python to the database. If the connection is successfully happened and you are try to perform some operation, if the operations are successful or not, but you have to close the database connection. All of that scenario where the dependency is not on the operation output, if it is success or failure, finally block is used to execute that remaining closure of the connection and everything like that. Okay, so here you can see opening file and closing file, that operations are successfully performed. So this is the use of the finally. It execute whatever the output is, success or failure. Either it is except block is executing or either else block is executing, does not matter. Okay, now regarding the custom error that we talked about, let's say we are developing something where we want to allow the customer age only above 18. Below 18, they should get the error message. Okay, either let's say it's regarding the voting also, we have a eligible age of 18. So similar to like that, we are trying to develop here. If somebody less than 18 comes, they should get an error message. Although for Python it is a valid number, but it is a custom message that we want to develop. So we can do that with the help of a raise. Okay, if age is less than 18, we are asking to raise a value error. Ideally, it should not raise a value error, but forcefully we are asking Python to do that because our requirement is that we should not have any person below 18 years. Age must be 18 or above. Okay. So in that scenario, we will print eligible. Okay. So if you see here, if I enter the age 16, you will see it will raise a error message for me. So I can put this in the try except block and have a error message so that any customer below 18 should not be allowed to proceed further on this one. Okay, so this is the way how you can yourself raise the error message for your requirement. Okay, now let's go with a complete flow that we talked about, the payment method, where we will use the try, accept, else, finally all the things. Okay, try, we will ask customer, let's do one thing. Any day you are writing, pass, and then accept, write all the blocks first, so you will get a clarity. Pass, and then we will have finally. Okay, so this will give you a clarity now. And now in the try, we want to take a number rather than a payment method is there. So we want to take a amount, float, input, and enter amount. Okay, so this will have a amount stored in the amount variable. Now if the number is valid, then it's fine. If it is invalid, we need to print a message: invalid amount entered. Okay, let's say it is a valid one, so we will print a message: payment successful. Okay, let's say both the scenarios, payment was successful or failure, we want to print a message: transaction closed, because it is, regardless if it is a success or failure, we have to close the transaction. Okay, so if we try to run now, what amount you want to have? Let's say I entered intentionally, I enter a wrong amount. Let's say I enter 60. Okay, invalid amount enter, because I entered in a string format, so transaction closed. Let's say I entered in the numeric format: 70. Payment successful, transaction closed. So in this way we can make the program more flexible, more powerful. Now even if the user intentionally try to break the code, they won't be able to, because we have tried to handle all the things with our code itself, with the exception handling. Okay, and custom validation, we have already seen that how we can do that regarding with this one, with the help of raise. Now let's move to our mini project, where we can now mini project where we are going to create a smart payment, oops, system, because now we have the ability to verify if the payment, that customer amount that is entering, is a valid amount or not. If not, then we will notify the customer. If it is a valid, we will generate a message: the bill is successfully generated or paid, and then finally we are closing the transaction. Okay, so what we will do, we will first have the welcome message: welcome to code cafe. Okay, and then we will have a slash n, so that we will now take the customer name input and customer name. Okay, now we will take the payment, that will be, amount will be in the try block, because we want to have the possibility that customer might enter a wrong format. So input, okay, uh, enter bill amount. I guess this is fine. Now once we took the amount, we will go in the accept block. If customer enters invalid amount, then we can raise a error message that mm, 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 payment failed. Okay, we will keep that message, and in the else block we will, what else we can do? Mm, else block we can print a payment successful. Mm, okay, that we can do. Definitely we are going to review this and modify a little bit, because I feel there is a scope that we can make this program more relatable to the real life. So let's modify after that. Okay, mm, payment successful. Okay, then what else we can do? Mm, Mm, we can also have the bill amount displayed. Okay, bill amount slash n is not required here, and is not even here because we have placed it in the beginning. Okay, let's place it here, and then we need to have a f string. What else we need to do? Amount we can print that customer has paid. Then I guess this is done, and we can have a finally block where we can print section session closed. We are closing the whatever the transaction session was going on, that we are closing, and we have to say thank you to them anyways if payment is successful or not. So put that part also in this block. Okay, thank you for the visit. Still I feel okay, one more thing we can do. What is there? We can have a if amount is less than 0. Let's say customer try to enter some negative values, or even if 0 also, if they try to enter, then we can raise our value error that you are not entering the correct one. Okay, amount must be greater than 0. Okay, and here we can do a okay as exception as error. Okay, and we can print the error also. Okay, I guess this will give us a more clarity that what the error was, and here we are raising our custom exception. That part also we included in our mini project. Okay, customer name. mm, One more thing I can do, I can also add a customer name over here, but that's fine. Let's say customer name Vijay. Bill amount, let's say I try to enter 0. Payment failed, amount must be greater than 0. Session closed. So here you can see payment failed and amount must be whatever the error that we wrote is printing here in the error. And before we move forward, let me add the portion where customer name is there that I forgot, that we are collecting although. Okay, and that should be under the f string, and this we can remove now. Okay, customer name Vijay, bill amount 1,100 or 1,000. Yeah, so bill payment successful, transaction closed, thank you for the visit. And let's take a negative use case. Name Raj, and let's say he randomly enters a wrong bill amount, then payment failed, could not convert string to float. So a wrong value, this is what the value, if we print the error, it is even giving what user entered, so that is not convertible. So this is how we can customize the program and display the errors also, and also we can raise our manual custom errors we can handle. Okay, I guess this gave you a much clarity how we can use the exception handling. Okay, okay. I hope you are liking this series. If you like, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. And please do comment if you need any particular topic or any particular concept to be covered in the upcoming videos. We will definitely try to cover that. I will see you in the next video. Until then, thank you and happy coding.